too bad. It's only 11 minutes. You know, you're not paying for this shit, so who cares? Let's see. Is it starting on YouTube? Come on, YouTube, catch up. Come on, YouTube, catch up. It's a little delayed.
There we go.
There it goes. All right. I think we're good. We good? Let me refresh my page here. Make sure that we are good. Yes, we are. What's happening, film nerds? Dave, the Film Junkie here. Welcome to the Film Junket podcast, episode 30. Look at that. Aren't you lucky, Micah? You're on episode 30. Big 3-0.
Awesome.
Aren't you? Yeah, you should feel special about that.
Yeah.
What's happening, guys? I know it's been like almost a month since I've done a podcast. I'm so lazy with these podcasts. I got to do them a lot more, and I got to do these live podcasts a lot more. I think they're a little more fun. It's not just me talking to myself. I have somebody here talking, and I have with me Mr. Micah Harshaw. Said that right? You know how bad I am with the names, guys. Come on.
Of course.
And he's part of what is it? Geeks Nation? Geek
Vibes. Geek
Vibes Nation.
Yes.
There it is. See, I knew I was gonna screw something up today.
Yeah.
You contribute, right?
Yes. Right now, I mean, just with time and trying to figure out my own schedule of being on YouTube and podcasting and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to figure out what I do exactly.
Yeah.
But every so often I do pop up on podcast over there, and then I'll post to their YouTube channel as well. So yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, me and Micah go back, actually.
Yes.
We go back a few years.
Yeah.
We've actually podcast before. We've talked on and off, and mainly we have a love of geeky, movie, nerdy shit.
Yes.
So, and that's how we crossed paths, and here we are again. And hopefully we do a lot more of these because these are always a lot of fun. So, do you have your own YouTube channel, or is it just strictly their YouTube?
Yes, you'll find me the majority of the time on my own channel, which it's very simple. I try to simplify everything across the board. But my YouTube channel is just youtube.com/MICAHHARSHAW. It's literally just my first and last name.
Keep it simple.
So you'll be able to find me basically anywhere with just my first and last name. So try to keep it simple.
There you go, man. Yeah. So like I said, we go back a little ways. We've talked over the years many times and stuff like that. You know, we've talked mainly nerdy stuff and everything. So let's just jump right into it, since we're all still kind of buzzing from it. What did you think of Infinity War?
Oh man, yeah, you're gonna put the pressure on me.
Oh yeah, man.
So I saw it the first weekend, and I felt like I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't see it the first weekend.
Well, yeah, with all the spoilers everywhere. Exactly. I mean, nobody was relentless about it.
I'm really good with navigating my way through the internet when it comes to spoilers. I know that some people have a really hard time with coming across spoilers online. But I really try to stay disciplined. If it's a movie that I really want to see and don't want spoiled, then I do my due diligence and avoid, whether it's David or whether it's some other blogger. I do a good job of avoiding spoilers. So
are you trying to say that you mute me? Do you mute me? Oh man, I'm hurt.
I made sure for this movie that I didn't get spoiled at all, and I saw it the Sunday, and no, that movie was way more than I expected. And just to think that this has been 10 years building up to this grand event, and the way that they were able to deliver, not just the Russos, not just the actors and actresses, but Disney and Marvel Studios, the way that they were able to deliver in 2.5 hours, I give them so much kudos for what they were able to do, and I will continue to sing the praises of that film. So yeah, it was amazing.
That's good. Yeah. When it comes to spoilers, I've even had, after I saw the movie, during that weekend, I was dropping a little. I wasn't trying to be like, oh man, when this happened, I was trying to be a little subtle with things, but then I still had people going, dude. I'm going, hey, mute. I mean, Twitter has that function where you can mute all these little buzzwords. Mute Avengers, Avengers 3, Avengers Infinity War, War. You know, just everything.
War.
Yeah, you should mute that anyways, man. Now,
right.
Yeah, because we don't need to see that. But you know, I just tell people, I'm like, hey, you know, you got to realize, you know, this is the internet, this is social media. People are gonna want to share this stuff. I mean, I try my best, but you know, it's hard not to. But sadly, I got some of the stuff spoiled for me before I saw it. Not much, but I got the not the deaths with the snap of the fingers.
Oh man!
And by the way, if you guys are watching and you still haven't seen it, what the fuck are you doing?
Seriously.
Yeah. So I don't.
It's only been 2 weeks, but
exactly. I don't need to say the S word, the spoiler alert thing. I don't need to say that anymore. But yeah, sadly, I got. Well, somebody sent me. They said that. Well, they actually said that Tony dies. They said Tony, Gamora, and Loki and Vision died. They said that, oh yeah, they die on the Thanos' ship. Somebody sent me that. So they partially spoiled it for me. So I knew I going in, I mean, I already kind of suspected that Loki was going to die. I was like, I already knew off the bat. I'm like, there's no way. I mean, if they're going to kill somebody that's going to strike someone's chord, you know, it's going to be Loki because he's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
You know, he's not necessarily like a major player. I mean, he kind of is because, you know, he was the first. I mean, when it comes to the MCU villains, he's top. He's top no matter what. I mean, I think now Thanos is giving him a run for his money for sure. They did a great job. Brolin knocked it out of the park and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Loki was always a fan favorite. But you know, when it came to like, and when everybody was suspecting like, oh, is there going to be a major player? And I saw, of course, websites try to bait people into like, oh yeah, we heard a major player or a pop. You know, it's like you got to look at the way they're phrasing the words, you know, in their headlines, which you always got to do with all these, you know, websites and stuff like that, which irks me a lot. But I was just like, you know what? I just have a feeling like, I mean, he's not necessarily a major player, but he's a fan favorite, you know. So you got to look at the way they're phrasing some of this stuff, and I just suspected that. And of course, Vision having what does he have? The Mind Stone, right?
The Mind Stone.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. Yeah, having the Mind Stone, you know, you kind of suspected that something was going to happen with him, and then of course with the romance with Wanda. You just kind of figured they're going to play into that.
Right.
But Gamora was a shock. But then, you know, the way that played out, I mean, that was a pretty grueling scene. What did you think about that scene?
Oh, man. We're talking about the ending, right? Like
no, I'm talking about when Gamora dies, when he sacrifices her for the Soul Stone.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back a little.
All right.
Because
go back.
The cameo of Red Skull, I was jumping out of my seat, and I'm sorry for the people that live here towards Avon, Indiana. When I went to the theater up here, and it was packed, and when Red Skull showed up, I freaked out because that was something that I was like, okay, Hugo Weaving, he said that he doesn't want to come back. So I had written off Red Skull. And then when that happened, I was completely beside myself. Nobody knew what the fuck I was excited for. But I was just freaked. Everybody else thought it was just some
random character.
Yeah. No, I was so pumped.
Oh.
But then the dialogue between Thanos and Gamora, and is she not getting it right away? Yeah. And then, you know, Thanos just knocked her off. That was pretty sad. Like, I know that these are comic characters, but even in this movie where we see Thanos a lot, and it's not just teasers or anything like that, I still felt something for him. And he was talking to his daughter, his adoptive daughter.
Yeah.
And just breaking down and how you could see that, just him, the sadness in his eyes. And
well, he started crying.
He does it anyway. And
yeah. Well, you know, yeah.
It really struck a chord with him. And,
it tore him up inside.
Oh yeah.
And you weren't expecting that because you just think like, oh, this guy's pure evil. He has one agenda. He just wants to wipe out half the universe, bring balance or whatever. He doesn't give a shit. And that's what she even thought too. she started laughing her ass off, going, "You don't love anything. You don't care about anything."
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, her face just drops
Yep.
when she sees his face, you know, tear rolling down and stuff like that. And yeah, I was just kind of like, whoa, all right, that's interesting. Wasn't expecting that. But yeah, back to the Red Skull. I was the same way too. I was like, whoa. I kind of almost, you know, went, whoa, wow. And I turned to my friend. I was like, dude, it's Red Skull. Like we finally figured out where the fuck he went, because
Right.
I mean, at the end of Captain America, he touched the Tesseract, got sent out to space, and we just were like, where the hell did he go?
Right.
I mean, it sucks the fact that it wasn't Hugo Weaving. Apparently, it was a whole different actor, but you couldn't really tell the difference. He did a really good Hugo Weaving impression. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, that was a nice little. I was not expecting that cameo. I knew, like, I had a feeling like, oh, is this where she's gonna get off? Yeah, and of course, that's when it was. But yeah, when it came, of course, there's a lot of things today. I'm probably going to do a little video about it later. But one of the big things today that was that was talked about by the Russo brothers was the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Hulk in Infinity War?
I'm going to be honest. We haven't talked about this in length. So, but I have to be honest. I didn't really care for the, you know, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I'm trying to fight back the monster. I didn't care for it. But that's my take on it. How did you feel about it?
No, I didn't like it either. I expressed it in my regular review, and I expressed it in my spoiler review too. He is definitely the weakest link in the whole movie. I mean, it sucks because his little, you know, when Loki says we have a Hulk, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and punches Thanos right in the head. That was cool, but it lasted what, a whole 6.5 seconds, you know? Right. And then all of a sudden he got his ass handed to him, and then Heimdall, but I can never say his name right, sends him off, which is cool. Yeah, we needed a reason why he needed to get sent back to Earth. But after that, it was like, what the hell? It's like they didn't know what to do with him. You know, and apparently the Russos answered that question about, like, well, what was going on with Bruce Banner and Hulk, and instead of, I mean, what was conveyed on the screen was the fact that, you know, he got his ass handed to him and the Hulk was scared, but apparently, according to them, they said, well, the Hulk didn't want to be treated like a weapon or something like that,
right?
And I'm going, well, wait a minute. Well, first off, you're ripping off Cyborg, and second off, what the, like, that just gave me the impression that they really didn't know what to do with him either. You know, I mean, I give them kudos for balancing all these characters off. That was hard to do. It was very difficult to do. I give them credit for that, and they did a good job. But it just to me, it seems like when it came to Banner, they just didn't know what to do. And I think partially it has to do with Thor Ragnarok, because I mean, let's face it, they made the Hulk and even Banner just like a big dummy, you know. In the first Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, they utilized his smarts, you know, minus the whole romance between him and Natasha, which is, you know, yeah, it's just so forced and so unnecessary. Right. But they utilized his smarts because, you know, originally that's what Nick Fury wanted. He wanted, you know, Banner there just to be that. He didn't want him to be the Hulk. But of course, probably in the back of his head, he said, well, if we need him, we need him. But, you know, they were trying to utilize the smarts. Even in Age of Ultron, Tony was like, hey, I need your help with this new AI that I just found. Help me out here. But then it's just like when Thor Ragnarok came about and he was just basically just like a big dummy. I don't know if the Russo brothers were like, well, what can we do? Let's just put him like this. And now he's going to have, you know, he's going to have Hulk erectile dysfunction.
Basically,
that's basically what it was. And it was, I mean, I even saw it with my dad that Sunday, and he even thought, like, wow, what the hell? You know, and he's not like into this shit as much as I am. I mean, he knows this shit, he's seen all the movies, but he was even like, all right, this is kind of getting old, this whole no, it's like, what? Come on.
Yeah, I didn't care for just the back and forth. You know, we could have, to me, Hulk is a more important character than Hawkeye, but that's my own, like, fan bias.
Yeah.
If we needed to not have Bruce Banner in this movie somehow, you know, I would have rather have done that than the whole back and forth, like you said, erectile dysfunction. Like, I can't get it up.
Somebody get him a pal.
it bothered me. It really did bother me.
I think it bothered a lot of people, man.
Yeah. So I could have done without that. But.
Well, hopefully in Avengers 4 they utilize them a little better. Yeah. I mean, it's weird too because I mean, there's like images from like figurines and Funko Pops that show him busting out of the Hulkbuster, and that's what I was waiting for. The whole time I'm waiting. I was like, is he going to get angry and just bust out of the armor? Mm-hmm. Which would have been cool. And maybe that was on the drawing board at one point, and they decided to scrap it. I don't know why, but who knows with that. But yeah. So what did you think about the ending and half the crew just like floating away?
Man. Do we have to talk about the ending? That was incredibly emotional in a way that I didn't think was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't expect. I wanted Thanos to win. Okay, like in this movie, I was like, Thanos is supposed to be one of the reasons why some of the villains in the MCU lack, you know, that menacing, that gusto that we've been looking for. He's one of the reasons why, because he's supposed to be this big, huge baddie that can't be overtaken.
Yeah.
So I wanted him to win. And then the way that the ending played out, and even my guy, Peter Parker, and the way that he went, and then later finding out about what Groot said.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know.
It really is. It was a lot more emotional than I expected. I expected Thanos to win. I wanted him to win. And then the way that half the crew disappeared, and I noticed that most of it, if not all, were the newer characters that have been introduced over the last couple of movies. It was very gripping, and that was something that threw me for a loop because I wasn't expecting.
Nobody. I don't think anybody really did. I mean, it was funny. The first screening that I saw it, somebody behind me, when Black Panther went away, no, like right behind me, I was like, whoa, somebody's a big Black Panther fan. Well, I mean, obviously, because it's just, you know, it's still recent in our brains, and then you know, that movie was great too. But you know, it was just funny how like everybody. I can't believe how quiet the movie theater was. I mean, after an Avengers movie, everybody's usually cheering.
Right.
You got the fancy schmancy end credits, you know, with the music playing, but it was so grim and so dark. It was basic. Yeah, it was like a minimal end credit scene where it was just showing the names. That's all with a black screen. It was something that you don't expect, you know, and that's what was so like great about it. I mean, of course, you know, the most emotional part was Peter falling in the arms of Tony and that whole thing. I mean, that kind of, I mean, say what you want about Spider-Man Homecoming. I know a lot of people aren't like huge, you know, some people aren't huge fans of that movie, but it kind of, that whole dynamic between Tony and Peter kind of paid off with that moment right there, you know, so the father and son thing, you know, the fact that Peter doesn't really have a father. Tony, I mean, and they kind of established that too a little bit with Pepper when he said he had a dream that they had a kid and blah, blah, blah. So you could kind of say like, well, yeah, Tony, you know, and Peter, that whole dynamic and everything like that. So, yeah, it was pretty shocking. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in Avengers 4. You know, I mean, do you have any ideas? What do you think is going to happen?
Now, see, I had ideas, and then I started reading, you know, I know you take it with a grain of salt, but just like the different Reddit threads.
Wait, that was our podcast, wasn't it? That's right, it was. Yes. Now it came back.
That we might have to resurrect that.
We're gonna have to. Yes. That's right. It was called Grain of Salt, right?
Film Grain of Salt. Yes.
Film Grain of Salt. That's right. Damn, I suck, man. My memory.
I've been reading up on the Reddit threads and stuff like that. So now my mind is like inundated with a bunch of conspiracy theories for Avengers 4 now. No. So I've been hearing things, but I know what is going to happen I don't 100% know, but just in my mind how I feel like it's going to play out. I know that the heroes are going to come out on top. I don't know exactly how it's all going to play out. But I'm very anxious to see. Now, bear with me. I was extremely excited at the post-credit scene. I was more excited than most of the people in the theater.
Captain Marvel.
Everybody was just like, okay, who the fuck's logo? Like, what is that?
Oh, you don't know how many
And,
text messages I got. Well, what was up with that symbol right there? I'm like, oh, it's
yeah,
Captain Marvel.
apparently I was the only one that knew Captain
Yeah.
Marvel's, you know, colors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm anxious to see how her movie plays out, and I'm anxious to see how it ties into her arriving in Avengers 4.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, given that it takes place majority in the 90s. So I'm sure they're going to do some flashing back and then present day stuff too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like you know, we're going to see Hulk, we're going to see Hawkeye, we're going to see Captain Marvel, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of the older crew, the older, you know, the original Avengers crew take a lot of the brunt of the work in the movie. And then somehow we're going to see everybody else come back. And then it'll all play out. And I feel like somebody's going to die. And I feel like it's probably going to be Iron Man. And I feel like he's going to sacrifice himself essentially, just because of
it's been leading up to it.
He is the spearhead to all this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like he's going to be the one that trades himself off for everyone else.
Yeah.
And you know, I really don't have anything to base that off of, but
see, somebody in the chat said they need to bring Red Hulk in there too. Yeah, they should. But that would be sweet if they somehow inject Red Hulk, you know, capture General Ross and have them fight. That'd be cool. Anyways, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I know there's probably going to have something to do with time travel, something to do with, you know, maybe the barf technology that was shown in Civil War. I mean, we saw the set photos. Sadly, that can kind of spoil it a little bit. Yeah. But you never know. They're gonna throw some curveballs, I think. Yeah. You know, I mean, as much as, you know, I remember before Infinity War came out, it was just like, you know, they showed a half an hour to bloggers, and all the bloggers could say was like, oh yeah, it was hilarious. And I'm going, that's all you could say about the first half hour of Infinity War, you know? And I always bust the balls of the MCU, like, okay, does it, you know, it doesn't always have to be ha ha wink wink, ha ha wink wink,
right?
But luckily enough, I mean there was, you know, I thought they balanced the humor for most of the movie pretty well. I mean, there's some things where I was kind of like, okay, especially the Banner stuff, but you know, a lot of things, you know, especially the ending, I wasn't expecting that, so that's why I praise this movie. And hopefully with Avengers 4, they throw us some more curveballs. And well, we only got a year to wait, right? It's going to be a short year. Jesus. Anyways, I think we both agree that Marvel did a good job of Infinity War, and we were shocked, and we were man enough to say that we almost cried at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely. Exactly. All right, so let's.
Prideful.
Yeah, exactly. So we haven't talked too much. I mean, we kind of briefly and chatting it up, but let's talk a little bit about Justice League. Let's go to the other side.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. Release the Snyder Cut. I see people in the chat saying, hey, release the Snyder Cut. Yes.
Yeah.
We want the Snyder Cut. What was your initial reaction to Justice League?
My initial reaction was that, wow, this movie sucked. That was my initial reaction. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody.
No.
Another thing that me and David bond over is Batman, and so when it comes to Batman, I'm incredibly biased. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Yeah.
So I, of course, was going into Justice League ready to go to bat for my guy, no pun intended. And especially after Batman v Superman, I still love that movie to this day.
Oh, of course.
And you know, whether it's the theatrical cut or the you know, the 3-hour cut, I still love that movie. But the Justice League film, man, when I saw Superman in the beginning, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Oh yeah.
I didn't think it was the real version that I was watching in the theater.
Yeah, you're like, is this a joke?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then just, I was really disappointed with that movie, and I feel like the less that I say about it, the better. But yeah, I was incredibly furious about it, and I do plan on watching it like just at home.
Yeah.
And seeing if my opinion changes at all. But
spoiler alert: it does not have good rewatch quality. Good God.
That's where I'm at with Justice League.
Maybe watch one of the fan cuts. It's a little better. It's a little easier to swallow. Yeah.
The stuff that I've seen online, and of course, Zack Snyder is the main reason I have a Vero account.
Yeah.
So at least all that stuff that he posts, and then the fan stuff I've seen on YouTube from Justice League, it's way better than the actual movie, in my opinion. But what were your thoughts on it, Dave?
Well, I mean, it was difficult because and people have heard me talk about this, but I don't mind about talking about it again. But when I saw an advanced screening, literally on the Warner Brothers lot, I got invited to see it that Monday. Yeah, that Monday before. I really pushed for that. I was emailing. I was just like, come on! I was just kept emailing this one chick who's like a rep for Warner Brothers, and I just kept emailing her, and then finally she sent me an invite. So that Monday, I remember I left work early, drove out there, and I was, of course, just super excited. And finally getting to the place after walking back and forth between two lots, because I swear to God, security guards, that operate the gates, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No.
Let me just tell you one thing. I got sent back and forth between two gates because people don't know what the hell they're doing. They're getting paid $9.50 an hour. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They just want to send you like to another person. So I was like, me and this one guy were going back and forth trying to get onto the lot, thinking I was gonna miss my screening. I was getting pissed. Finally, we got there. And yeah, like I said, once you see Superman's face right at the beginning, I went like this. My face just like dropped. It just went, oh fuck, because especially when I spent a year defending the movie and all the posts talking about all the behind the scenes nonsense. I was defending it, saying like, hey, no, there's no way that this was the case. There's no way that they're gonna do this. No way. In 6 months, there's no way. But they did. So it was kind of like a slap in the face. And I just remember walking to the parking lot, and that dude that I was talking to, I turned to him and I went, wow, they really de-Snydered the shit out of that, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult. And then I had to do everybody was waiting for my first reaction. And I was sat in my car going, what the hell do I say? Because I don't want to like be like a big downer, but I also don't want to be like, oh my God, it was great, because what's my saying? Have some integrity. So I kind of just did like an in-between thing where even people were going like, did you like it or did you not? And so I had to do a follow-up video because I was going to the premiere too. And I showed up to the premiere and I sat down somewhere and I just kind of did a quick video saying like, hey, I liked it, but there's a lot that I want to say about it and blah, 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 and that was pretty much, yeah, it was pretty difficult. But the second time I saw it, I kind of went in with like a different kind of perception. Like, hey, let me just look at it like, hey, this is a Justice League animated flick, with Flash around it. I'm going to look at it like that. It's not a Zack Snyder movie. That's the way I'm going to look at it. And I enjoyed it a lot more. Maybe not a lot more, but it was easier to take in,
Yeah. I don't know if it was Joss Whedon stepping in and having to kind of cobble together.
I don't fully blame him. Yeah.
But I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling that movie that I saw in theaters.
No.
And I know that he did a lot of the work on it. So
yeah.
It didn't work.
You know what I mean? I mean, I've heard stuff. I have some sources myself now, randomly. But yeah, I know. I always make fun of that.
You're really moving up, man. I'm proud to see this growth.
Yeah, well, cool. It's pretty crazy. It wasn't like I went out searching. All of a sudden, I just started getting emails from people, and so I've heard things, and everything, and I've talked about it in my videos and stuff like that. I don't fully blame Joss. It was Warner Brothers in general. It was everybody, all those head guys that got nervous. And I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, don't blame Jeff Johns, but I'm like, yeah, you can blame him a little bit, Peter Berg, or is it John Berg? I can't. I just you know, I am with names. You know, there's a lot of heads that led to that. I mean, when it comes to Whedon, some of the stuff I heard, it's like, yeah, the guy is arrogant. He was arrogant enough to come onto this project and thought that he could do something with it, and then he didn't want to put his name on it. Really,
right?
You know, he didn't promote it, didn't do anything, and that just kind of shows you right there that, you know, this guy, he has a big ego, and we've heard that. You know, I mean, and then you kind of go like, well, what has he done really in the last 5-6 years? I mean, after Age of Ultron, he kind of hasn't really done much.
Yeah.
You know, and it, like, I commend him for that first Avengers movie. He did a great job with that first Avengers movie. I'll give him that. But I don't know. I don't know about that guy.
Yeah. Age of Ultron, we should have known after that one that they should have went into a different direction with the director.
Yeah,
because, I mean, let's face it, Avengers was amazing. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron, I still have a bit of a hard time. Like, it kind of feels like a chore to watch Age of Ultron.
It can feel like that.
Yeah. But like I said about Justice League, you can tell there was a direction that they were going towards with Zack Snyder, and then when you brought in Whedon, man, that movie was just tonally different from the first.
And you could see it. Yeah.
So yeah,
and you could really see it too. I mean, there was a couple things. I mean, like the Batman scene in the beginning, a lot of people thought that was Snyder, and you know, even I thought, well, maybe that was, you know, but to me, it felt a little out of place because I thought it was going to start off with Bruce, you know, looking for Arthur, you know, bearded up on a horseback and everything.
Right.
But, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, that's Snyder. And I thought, well, maybe it was Snyder. It did have that kind of vibe to it. But then we found out that it was totally Whedon. But I'll commend him for that. It wasn't a bad scene. It was very Batman. You know, he's perched up on a gargoyle. He's doing his thing. I mean, it was pretty damn, you know, it wasn't bad. But, yeah, I mean, I desperately want to see that Snyder cut. I'm sure you do too. I mean, from what I've heard, it's a 3.5 hour beautiful.
Bring it on, man.
I know, man.
Bring it on.
You know, I mean, he keeps teasing it. And I haven't talked to the guy personally. I mean, we're connected on Vero, which is like, oh, you know, it's crazy. When it comes to Vero, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta post a picture, but Zack Snyder's gonna see. You know, I get all. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't want to post something where it's gonna piss off Snyder. You know, I get very fanboyish when it comes to that stuff.
No, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, especially when like I post something and then all of a sudden I look and then it says Zack Snyder liked your picture or your whatever.
Cool.
You know, it is pretty cool. But you know, I sent him a message. Of course, he didn't send it back. I'm sure he gets a bunch of messages and whatnot. But I mean, he knows a lot. He knows that even though he hasn't. And I don't blame him for not watching the theatrical cut of Justice League because you know what? I think Edgar Wright said it best about Ant-Man because you know how Edgar Wright was gonna make the Ant-Man movie long ago before the MCU.
Yeah.
Somebody, when he was promoting Baby Driver, somebody actually asked him, "Have you seen the Ant-Man movie?" And he had the perfect response. He goes, "No. Why would I see that? That'd be like watching one of my ex-girlfriends have sex with somebody else."
That is like, brilliant.
Yes. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably exactly how Snyder would feel too. But it would probably be watching my girlfriend cheat on somebody with somebody else. It's probably a lot worse because there's a lot of him in there still. Yeah. You can tell when it's a Snyder shot. I mean, when Flash was like touching the mother box and the way it looks, I mean, that's totally Snyder right there. You could tell. And then, you know, when Superman's taking on the League, obviously you could tell there's a lot of Snyder in there too.
Yep.
So I can imagine him not wanting to watch that. And a lot of people, you know, I've even seen websites. Oh yeah, like the shots that he's posting with Gal Gadot and all that stuff. Oh, they're all coincidental. He hasn't watched the movie, and I'm going, come on. He knows what was taken out. He knows what was changed. He knows, you know, people have told him what's going on.
You have to know.
Exactly. It's not coincidental that he's posting shots that were not in the movie. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. But I don't know if we're going to see it. Hopefully we do. I mean, goddamn. We were going to see something truly special and beautiful, which sucks. Yeah. You know, because I think he kind of had like a 5-part, thing going on that he wanted to do, and sadly we're not going to see it. I mean, at least we could see the trilogy, see the Superman trilogy, that he wanted to show us. And who knows if we're going to see it, but only time will tell. I'm trying to I mean there's stuff that got out there that I was a part of. I was like, hey, from what I heard, let's get that out there. Let's get that news out there. And right now it's been pretty quiet. It's just him posting stuff. He's been posting like first images, like the Cavill first image, Gal Gadot. It's pretty cool stuff. I kind of want to see like, when did he think that Affleck was his Batman? That's what I want to know. I mean,
that would be a great question.
Yeah.
To find out. Yeah.
Because I still remember when he was cast, and I actually I still have my video. I was kind of going, I don't know if I like that when he was cast, like back in 2013, 14, beginning of 14. Yeah. At first, I wasn't a big fan of it. Like I like Affleck, and I was liking what he was doing because with the town and the movies, getting behind the scenes, but getting behind the camera, I should say. But at first I was like, really? Affleck? And because I was expecting a younger Batman. I was expecting, so at first I was kind of hesitant, but as time went by, and then after seeing that first image of him, it was like, oh, there you go. It's Batman. He's right out of the comic book.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he does look straight out of the comics. And I can't really remember.
Chin. It's all about the chin, guys.
Yeah, exactly. The dimple. Yep.
Dude, I mean, you can say what you want about all the other Batmans, but they don't got that fucking chin and that jawline. Anyways, I could say that because I also have a butt chin myself, so represent.
I don't remember my reaction to Ben Affleck being announced as Batman, but I know that I loved it. And like I know that seeing him in the movie, the BVS, and then of course Justice League, and obviously Suicide Squad, but he looks like Batman, which makes me pretty upset when I hear the back and forth of will he come back, won't he come back, that kind of thing. Like I really want him to stay, but if we have to go in a different direction with somebody who's going to be a little bit more committed. I don't know the situation with he and WB and then of course, like, his personal life got drudged up and all that.
Yeah,
I hate
that was
talking
bullshit.
about people's personal lives like that, but
yeah, that's what sucks about it all.
Somebody who looks like Batman like that and is a very talented actor and then also a talented director, I would want him to stick around, especially with his love for Batman.
Exactly. He loves Batman. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, he bought Kevin Smith's house. One of the main reasons that he bought Kevin Smith's house is because Kevin Smith had a secret room behind a moving bookshelf. Like Kevin Smith had a moving bookshelf, like a secret moving bookshelf, and it was almost like an entrance to the Batcave. And he loved that about the house, and he bought Kevin Smith's house almost because, exactly. He loved that shit. I don't know.
That's when you know you're too rich. You're like, I love that bookshelf. I need to buy that house for that bookshelf. That's
exactly. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, recent pictures of Affleck, he looks like he's getting in shape. Like he looks a little more. Good. Yes, he looks more leaned out, and he looks more.
I'm going to say this right here.
Okay.
The bloggers that are saying Ben Affleck is in shape for Batman, I don't like that. We don't know what he's doing. I think he's filming a movie right now.
Yeah.
Whether he's still in Hawaii for it or not, I'm not sure.
But I think they might have wrapped
filming a movie.
Yeah, he was.
But I don't like the Ben Affleck is in shape for Batman. We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't.
And that's where your line comes in, Dave, where you're like, have some integrity. It's like, okay, don't use that because we don't know if Batman's next or not. We don't know that.
Yeah.
So, but I've seen it everywhere the last 48 hours or so.
Yeah, I saw I think it was Heroic Hollywood that said like, oh yeah, here's images of Batman working or Ben Affleck working out. I think they actually said that he was working out, but he was just he was laying on the ground.
He was laying on the side,
and his legs were up. like he was trying to get up, but maybe they thought that he was doing some leg raises for abs. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was in jeans too.
Yes,
like
but he's not working out. I mean, yeah, he looks like he's in shape. Like he's maybe mentioned that. Like, hey, he looks a little trim. He looks like he's, a little, his shoulders are a little broad. But it almost sounded like they said that he was like working out, and I'm going,
right.
No, and I know, I don't know. Heroic Hollywood lately, I don't know what's going on with them. They must be desperate for views because some of the stuff they've been posting, I'm like, what?
I do know that like on their website, and it could just be me not knowing what the hell I'm talking about, but they advertise that they're in need of writers.
That's probably what's going on.
A lot of influx going on right now.
They literally posted the other day, like, the Steppenwolf scene in Justice League sounds better with the Man of Steel soundtrack. And I'm going, that shit's been around since December. I mean, like, there's videos of scenes in Justice League that were rescored with Hans Zimmer score that have been around for like 6 months, and they're just now posting about it. And I'm going, you guys must be really desperate for views. What the hell is going on?
Right. Exactly.
I don't know, but I mean, we'll see what's going on with him. I hope he stays. God, what else did I see? I saw something that kind of gave me a little bit more. Maybe I forgot what it was, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, only time will tell. I mean, long as Matt Reeves is still doing it, I have full faith that he's going to do something special with it. I mean, I think I did a video about it because, talking with other people, I was like, it would be, if they wanted to do Batman with a younger guy, they can always have present day Batman, older Batman, and then they could flash back to like something, have a parallel story with like him younger and him older that kind of comes together. And they could have Ben Affleck like narrate it in like a film noir type, because I know Matt Reeves wants to do like a film noir Batman. So what's more noir than having a narration with somebody that's talking about this?
It would be a different take on the Batman movies as well. So like,
maybe he'll do that. I don't know.
I'm such a Batman fan that I don't need Batman to do the really expensive.
No.
Highbrow stuff. I don't need him fighting, Joker in every movie. No.
I mean, I want to
do something a little more low key.
Exactly.
Like, I've been dying to see Penguin come into the game because I feel like that would be a cool juxtapose of the storyline. So,
yeah, it could be cool. I mean, and then of course we have a Deathstroke. That'd be cool to see them two in it. We haven't seen that before, which would be very awesome to see. I don't know. Time will tell. But so let's moving on here. What movies are you looking forward to this year that haven't come out yet?
A movie I'm looking forward to this year, and before you even finished your sentence, the movie that popped into my head because of sheer curiosity and just I'm not trying to just stay on the comic book train, but Venom.
Yeah.
It really is a movie that I'm like, at first I was like, ugh. And then Tom Hardy came on and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then the
Something
first
about
trailer
that guy.
came out and I was like, ugh. And then the second trailer came out and I was just like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I'm curious. I don't think that it's going to be a grand slam home run, Deadpool 2 numbers or anything like that.
No.
But I feel like they might actually have something for just based off of Tom Hardy being as picky as he is on his roles alone.
That's very
true. There's got to be something there that Tom Hardy felt compelled to come on and do this project.
Oh yeah,
now, is this going to be a new franchise and a trilogy and all that? We'll have to see.
Yeah,
but I'm curious. I really like Tom Hardy. I love Riz Ahmed. I feel like that's inspired casting there.
Yeah.
And then Woody Harrelson. I'm a fan of these people, so it's curious to me to see where they're going to go with Venom.
Yeah,
and we're not going to have Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. We haven't even seen like Woody Harrelson, what he's doing. I mean, everybody thinks. I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, it's almost confirmed that he might be playing Carnage, and if that's the case, holy shit! and they should really keep that under wraps. Don't show that in any trailers. If there's going to be like a Venom Carnage fight, don't show that shit. But who knows? Studios, it's hard to tell these days. They tend to blow their loads, too much with these trailers, so they might do that. But they've been pretty reluctant. I mean, the first trailer didn't show anything.
No,
they didn't show the costume. But then in this one, they showed they showed just that at the very end. They showed it, which was fine. Tease that. But let's keep it at that. Get people talking, get people speculating, and hopefully they don't blow their wad too much. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm really looking forward because I'm like you, Tom Hardy. I think the last movie that I think that was a piece of shit that he did was This Means War. Oh,
yeah.
Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Did you see This Means War?
Yes.
Yes, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was campy. It was stupid. It was just like, wow. But ever since then, I've enjoyed every movie that he's been in, and it seems like he likes it. I haven't watched the TV shows that he's been in, but it seems like every movie that he's chosen since has been pretty damn good. So I'm going, okay, he saw something special. I mean, what's funny? He was almost in Suicide Squad. We tend to forget that. Yes. But I think he might be like, hey, I'm kind of glad I didn't pick that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's glad because
after seeing that final product,
I can't watch again,
dude. I mean, you can't tell me that Warner Brothers didn't fuck with that one too. You know, I mean, that first trailer had a different tone than the other trailers.
Did.
Yeah,
I
think Ayer had a different tone, and Warner Brothers came in and said, no, we got to do this, we got to do that. We got to change it to this, and it kind of just fucked with it. And I really
into a music video.
It did movie. With a laser shooting up in the sky.
Very,
like, God.
Very shitty villain. My God.
Oh God.
They just have a track record of poor CGI. Good Lord.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I'm interested in Aquaman. Curious to see where Solo goes.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2, of course, I'm a fan, so I'm really excited for that. Even though I've heard, mixed things about the test screenings, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I don't try to put too much stock in the test screenings because I feel like the internet goes wild with test screenings and internet scores or movie scores like Rotten Tomatoes, and then they go crazy for reshoots, all that stuff. If you're ignorant to what all that actually means, then you're annoying. I find you highly annoying and read a book. But yeah, I'm actually curious. Like you said, Solo, I'm curious about that as well. And I really have loved all the trailers and TV spots so far.
They've been great.
Aside from the lawsuit for the posters.
Oh, yeah.
The one where they took out Han's gun.
That
was really weird. But, I'm curious about that one, too.
I mean, he went from, holding his gun to, having a weird look on his face like he shit himself. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of strange. But, I mean, I get it. But for the most part, when I seen posters, in the movie theater, he's had the blaster and everything like that. It wasn't a big. I mean, I get it with the whole, the control and everything. But, it's a blaster. It's make believe. It's not.
It doesn't make it's not real. So
yeah, it's not. And they're not shooting full on, automatic weapons. They're shooting blasters.
Exactly.
It's nothing like that. But yeah, I mean, Donald Glover. I love that guy. I mean, that guy just killing it lately. Apparently, I mean, with his new music video and this new song that came out. Yes. I haven't checked out Atlanta yet, but I heard it's great.
I haven't either. Everybody's been telling me I need to watch that show.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing that too.
I barely have time for my own YouTube channel. Dude, you think I can start a new television?
You're preaching to the choir here. I
can't do it.
Yeah, it's to try to find time.
Hey Dave, somebody in the chat wanted to talk about us to talk about the Halloween movie coming out.
Oh yeah.
I'm a horror fan, and I'll say this, of course, I don't know if you guys have seen the poster for it. I dig the poster.
Of course.
But it's simple. It's Mike Myers. What can you say that hasn't already been said or seen about this creature, this horror villain, this monster?
Yeah.
this is going to be. I hope this will be like the one Halloween movie that doesn't feel like a parody of itself.
Hopefully not.
Like like previous Halloween films. I want Michael Myers to go out with a bang, and I really hope that it's a good movie. I love horror movies, and so a movie like this of a very legendary monster. I really hope for the best for this movie.
Well,
So.
Jamie Lee Curtis coming back too. That was a big plus. I mean, it was funny because when they announced that she was coming back, I think that was pretty much, it was close to when they announced Terminator 6 and how Linda Hamilton was coming back. I remember I even tweeted it out. It was like, a lot of people were like, let's just kill the Terminator franchise. It's dead. Stop it. We don't need any more. We don't need any more of that. And then it was like the Halloween franchise, same thing. But then all of a sudden they announced that, hey, Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back for Halloween. Linda Hamilton's coming back for Terminator 6. And all of a sudden you grabbed everybody's attention. Like, oh, right. That's a good way to get people on board. Absolutely. So, I mean, the fact that they're going to, totally, they're going to try to, I guess they're going to retcon all the other Halloweens. And just kind of, I think they're continuing off at 2, right? Or is it 1? Is it 2?
I believe it's 2.
Yeah, 2, right? Because she was, that's fine. That's good. That's totally fine. Yeah. Do that. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I mean, I liked what Rob Zombie did with the first Halloween. The second one, not so much. And I think a lot of people would agree to that because the first Halloween was fresh. It was Rob Zombie. It worked. You got a backstory of Michael Myers, but when it came to the second one, and it was almost like I always tell people when it comes to the second Halloween, it was almost like he needed a reason to put his wife into it. She would, she obviously was. She was killed in the first one, so he needed a reason to bring her back. So he was like, oh, so he's gonna be like a ghost or a vision that he sees, and it just got weird. But like the horse and the way that, it was very strange to me. So I'm looking forward to it. But we'll see. All right, let's answer some questions now. If you guys want to ask any questions, of course, on this podcast, you know what to do. The best way to do it is to use hashtag Film Junket Podcast. So here we go. Are you ready? You ready, Micah?
Yeah.
Ready to do this? All right, let's do this. Majin Gaku Black. I can, you know how bad I am with names, guys. Do you remember Scoopy Pants? We obviously know who he's talking about. Do you remember Scoopy Pants saying Batgirl would be introduced in Birds of Prey, like Marvel introduced Black Panther in Civil War before Solo? We saw DC introduce Wonder Woman in BVS first before her origin movie. What do you think of hearing that? Wait, I'm trying to understand that. Do you remember okay, so basically, Scoopy Pants said that Batgirl would be introduced in Birds of Prey as opposed to her own movie. Okay. So I think that's what he's asking. Like, what of our that's kind of this. I mean, with the news of yesterday, when it was mentioned that Harley or that Margot Robbie pitched an R-rated girl gang movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people I kept seeing headlines like, "Oh yeah, Margot Robbie, she pitched an R-rated Birds of Prey," and I'm like, where the fuck does it say that in her quote? She didn't say that she pitched an R-rated Birds of Prey, and that's what my gripe was. She said she pitched an R-rated girl gang movie, which to me sounds more Gotham City Sirens-ish, because Harley Quinn is not part of the Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey are good guys; they're the good girls. Batgirl. Canary. I mean, you're not gonna have Harley Quinn in that. I mean, unless she's like the antagonist. So I think that's what he's trying to say is like, I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Let's move on. Tio Versick. I can only, yeah. You guys and your names. Why can't you have normal names? Would you like I have a normal name? Everybody always says Penna. Anyways, he asked, would you like to see DC movies go more adult and less kid-friendly? I feel like DC needs to be opposite of Marvel. What do you think?
I don't think DC needs to worry about Marvel.
Yeah.
I think that DC needs to just worry about what's going on in within their bevy of characters and properties and stuff like that. And I feel like,
well, when they worry about Marvel, you get Justice League.
right?
Pretty much that's what happens. Jesus Christ.
I feel, yeah, exactly. When you start worrying about your competition, that's when you start buckling and do just
Exactly
anything to see if it'll stick to the wall.
I mean, I will always say this: if they would have just released Snyder's version, it probably would have got more praise than what we got.
It probably would have.
I'm telling you, after Logan, after Deadpool, people wanted something different. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they might have had a bad taste in their mouth, Batman versus Superman, but even that was dicked with. You know, the theatrical cut was not what he fully wanted. He wanted like a 3-hour cut out there.
Exactly.
Snyder likes to take his time, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. And I think people would have, you know, if they would have saw his Justice League, they would have praised it a lot more than what we got.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to me, they should, yeah, for the characters that need to be R-rated, sure, make them R-rated, you know. But, you know, then you got Shazam. You're not going to make that R-rated, you know, and that's perfectly fine. I think Shazam's going to be something unique in and of itself, and it's going to be very kid friendly. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think they should they should just do their thing and just try not to copy. I mean, they've been doing their thing since the first Superman movie in 1978. I mean, come on, you know,
exactly.
They don't need to change it up.
No.
Tevin Antwi at Tevin Antwi says, "Hey Dave. Why do so many people give Snyder crap about destruction of Metropolis when the same thing happens in the animation? It is because it's more jarring to see people out, to see it play out in real life. Yeah, I mean that's always going to be a thing. Everybody complains about Man of Steel and all the destruction. You didn't have a problem with that, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a movie.
Hey, spoiler alert, people. People aren't really in jeopardy. Hello.
Yeah, it's a movie, and I feel like there were so many movies back in the day where, you know, like the 90s, for instance, with all the Alien movies that would come out, like
Independence Day. Yeah.
You know, just stuff would get destroyed. People, cities, and states would get destroyed, and everybody was in awe of that. And now we care about people that aren't real because it's a movie. And
but even in Man of Steel, remember, I mean, you had Perry and you had what's her name? You know, she was trapped under the rubble and he was trying to get her out, and then they basically just held each other's hands and they're like, "This is it, we're gonna die." You saw that. That was a great, powerful scene. As Superman was about to, like, you know, full on almost sacrifice himself to destroy the other world engine. It was all happening at the same time. And it's like that movie holds a lot of weight when it comes to that, you know? And it's like there's nothing. And even in the beginning of Batman vs. Superman, where you see Bruce running towards the destruction, that's fucking awesome, you know? Yeah, it's stupid. I don't know why people complain about that. Oh, yeah. He could have just taken the fight somewhere else. Like, but he's got a point.
Where do you want it to be? In the middle of Kansas? Literally? Like on the
in a desert? They're gonna throw sand at each other.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's not sexy. It's
boring.
Not.
It's very. I know. I was having a debate with that with somebody else too, and they were like, "Well, they could have taken him to like a swamp." I'm all, a swamp? What the fuck? What the hell? You want a swamp? You're gonna go swimming with each other? What the hell? Like, what the fuck? What do you want? Jesus Christ. Next time, they're going to want them to be hitting each other with foam bats. Jesus Christ.
Just take all the fights over the waters of the different oceans. Just fighting there.
It's dumb. Whatever. Anyways, Michael, at Michael Manette, he says, this question is for both of you. What was your worst theater experience? Ooh.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That is, you want me to go? Because I'll
go first.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay. I love going to the movie theaters, and you guys cannot stop me. You will not stop me from going. The last couple of times that I went, in fact, I can think of 2 times recently where it was the latest film, and it was A Quiet Place and then Black Panther.
Ooh.
And sit down. I've got my snacks, and I know how to act in public, and I know how to be quiet when it's time to be quiet, especially in a quiet place.
Jesus Christ.
And I can say this because I'm black, and I don't know if Dave's gonna be a little cautious. But
nah.
During a quiet place specifically, there were two black women sitting next to me.
Oh, you're not gonna be all stereotype, right?
They were a little older than me, and they would not shut up. If you guys have seen A Quiet Place, that movie is quiet for 90% of the film.
Oh my God.
It's very quiet. I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat. There was so much tension in that movie. But these black women would not shut up the whole movie. Seriously, the quietest movie ever made, and they can't even be quiet. That was that experience there, and then I couldn't really. I have to watch Black Panther again at home because people were very raucous during Black Panther. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
Very joyous occasion, but like, just please, if you're gonna be loud, don't go to the movies. Just don't go at all. But
I don't understand that.
Yeah, that was. I would say that probably the absolute worst was I was watching Apocalypse. That movie was bad, but these two kids over to my right were on their phones, like Snapchat the whole time. God. And I'm talking full screen brightness was up, like everything. It was bad. And these kids, after the movie, I said to them, and I quote, I'm quoting myself. I said, "Have you guys ever been to a movie before?" And they looked at me scared because they're, two fair-skinned kids, and a black man's about to give them the business. And I'm like, I said, well, I would advise you the next time you go to a movie that you keep your phone in your fucking pocket and you shut up.
Nice.
And they just acted like they had seen the Holy Ghost, and that's all I had to say.
Good for you, man.
Please be quiet or don't go.
You're my hero. I love that. I love that shit, man. Good.
Yeah. If I have to say something, I'll say it. So.
Nah, dude. Fucking A, man. You got to do that. I would say the most recent one I had was King Arthur. I saw actually an advanced screening of that. There was some
listen to you on the advanced screening.
I know, right? Well, it only happens every now and then. But this was at the local theater I go to. They were just having an advanced screen. It wasn't anything special or anything like that. Gotcha. I just happened to jump onto something. But there was some fucker. There was like 2 or 3 people that decided to go to this advanced screening that had they decided to come with a big, whooping cough or whatever the fuck, and didn't bring any cough drops, so they were hacking the whole time. So me and my friend that I brought, we're just like, Jesus Christ, we're gonna walk out of here with AIDS. We're gonna walk out of here with something. It was just like all around us because we got there a little late, so we were at the bottom part of the theater, and it was just like these coughing people. There was one in front of me and like 2 behind me, hacking away, and it was just like, good God. And I would say one of the other bad experiences I had was with Jungle Book. Jungle Book was great. And I went, it was the first showing, and, the theater wasn't packed, but it just so happens that this whole family with kids decides to sit pretty close to where I'm at. And I'm by myself. I love going to the movies by myself and everything like that. And I'm going, okay, these kids are really young. First off, they're running back and forth right here. And then as soon as like the big scary, villain, which is what's his nuts, I can't think, Scar, whatever, they're getting scared out of their ass, so they start crying. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, yes, this is the Jungle Book, but look at how realistic this shit looks. Okay. Right. So that was also a bad experience too. And it's like, come on, know what's going on here. I don't understand when they bring their kids, they bring their infants. Oh my God!
Oh my God! I don't get it.
Every time I hear I'm like, that person is a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're bringing a baby. You're bringing a baby. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you can't say anything because we live in a different time now.
Oh, of course.
You're you're just an asshole.
How dare you? How dare you? I'm gonna go talk about this on my social media. That's right.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go complain. God, I hate that. All right. At Winter Jolt, he asks, a lot of the DCU fans truly believe Batman vs Superman was a masterpiece. I want to ask you your honest opinion. Do you think Batman vs Superman is a masterpiece, and do you think it's over exaggerated? What do you think? Is it a masterpiece, Micah?
No, Batman v Superman is not a masterpiece, and I don't think I've even heard you say that ever. It's not a masterpiece. It's very. We've got to stop using these superlatives so often for these movies. But no, Batman v Superman. If I had to even give it a score or a grade or whatever, it would probably land somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, the perfect film or anything like that. But for me, the extended cut is a really, really good movie.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got to pay attention. You've got to pay attention to the dialogue, to the stories that are being played out. One of the only things I can't stand in that movie is the email with the different heroes. That's something that I can't stand, but it's also something I can look past.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a masterpiece. But what do you think?
After watching it many more times, I would say close to me now. Yeah, close. I mean, when I think masterpiece, if I'm going to say a masterpiece when it comes to a CBM, I'm going to say The Dark Knight, obviously.
Right.
I mean, that is definitely a masterpiece. When it comes to Batman vs Superman, I'm pretty close to, saying that just because that ultimate cut, every time I watch it, I just, the way that the story, like you said, you got to pay attention to the dialogue. You gotta pay, especially when people have the complaints about, well, what the hell was Lex doing? What was this? What was that? I'm like, it's right there. Just fucking pay attention.
Yeah.
And it plays, the way it plays out. I mean, to me, Snyder was really trying to show us something different. But yes, I have my gripes about it too. There's not, it's not perfect. Like he even said, when they injected like the video stuff, it wasn't really needed. They didn't really need to have the other Justice League member videos and everything in there. But I think that was something that, from what I heard, that wasn't originally supposed to be the case, But I think Warner Brothers wanted to really expand the universe, so they're like, "Hey, can we get some more players in there?" Because it does feel a little out of place.
The studios getting interfering with that.
It's one thing having the Flash show up in the dream. That was really cool. I freaked out.
Yeah.
In the movie theater. I turned to my friend. I was like, "Dude, it's a fucking Flash!" I was like, he's coming through like he's time traveling. Like, what the fuck? Especially after seeing what they did with Superman and having that kind of injustice kind of like storyline, and I flipped out. But when it came to the footage stuff, you could tell it was kind of like, oh yeah, hey, guess what? There's a big universe out there. Yeah, you're right. It really didn't really need to be in there. So, but I agree with you on that one.
Wow, close to a masterpiece though.
After watching it like a few, about 20 more times that I have, you know what? I will admit, like I like it better than Man of Steel. I think sometimes it's hard. I'll watch Man of Steel and I'll be like, "Holy shit, this is so great!" And then I'll watch
deep.
Yeah.
Deep. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, that could be a masterpiece too, in of itself. But yeah, it's hard. Sometimes I go back and forth with those two. Like, which one do I like better?
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously with Batman vs Superman, it's got Batman in it, so
exactly.
we already talked about our bias with Batman.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Appreciate the questions. I think we've been talking for about a little over an hour here, and I think Micah, he's getting a little sleepy.
I am. I did yawn.
I saw you. You went off screen, but when you came back, your mouth was a little bit open. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, he's 3 hours in the future, guys, and we're doing this on a Wednesday night. Sadly, we got day jobs. We can't do this shit for a living. One day we can maybe do this for a living.
Oh yeah.
But we appreciate you guys watching. We could see that you guys are arguing in the live chat. Whatever, that's cool. Fun. Yeah, it happens all the time. I got people that just they want to come in here. And then, the MCU boys like to give me shit. It's awesome. It's whatever. Hey, we can enjoy the Marvel movies. We can enjoy the DC movies. We talked about both. We both really dug Infinity War, and we both love Batman. That's all that matters. And he's the best. Anyways, yeah, guys, appreciate you watching. Go ahead, Micah, give your information, Twitter, your YouTube, all that stuff.
So just you can follow me on Twitter, MicahHarshaw, Micah Harshaw, and then just on YouTube, same deal, MicahHarshaw, Micah Harshaw, and then of course I've got like all my social media stuff. I'll have it in my. I'm really active on Twitter, so just if you check me out there, you can find everything else there.
Absolutely. And then, of course, Geek Vibes Nation.
Geek Vibes Nation.
There you go.
Yep, you can check out that YouTube channel as well. I don't think they have the / Geek Vibes Nation, so you'll have to just search them up on YouTube at Geek Vibes Nation, and it'll be the first and only channel that pops up. So check that out as well.
Well, there you go, guys. Go follow this man. All right, he's got a lot to say, a lot of geek shit to say and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm Dave the Film Junkie. You know where to follow me. You're on the YouTube channel right now. So, anyways, guys, appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you later.